Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to a new little segment I'm going to be doing here. Every great once in a while there's going to be something I want to talk about that I don't want to put on a full Inside Guns with Yankee Marshall segment that I do Monday through Friday. So I'm going to be doing these little news breaks from time to time, along with some regular videos, hopefully, once I get this to where I can do it a little more smoothly. Today I want to take a little time for a little news break here and talk about the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse is now out on bail. Now, if I read the story correctly, he was released on $2 million bail, which I thought was excessive for his circumstances to begin with. But the money for his bail was raised in part by the MyPillow guy and Ricky Schroeder. Is that right? That it was Ricky Schroeder that was the other person? I don't know if I dreamed that or if I read the article wrong or what. But that seems like a really weird pairing there, the MyPillow guy and Ricky Schroeder. But that aside, I want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse himself today. There's so many people that want to put him in one of two categories. Some people want to say he's a hero, and some people want to say he's a monster. And I want to talk to people in both of those groups today and say he's neither of those things. He's a kid who made some mistakes that led to some tragic events. But he wasn't the only one that made mistakes. The people that attacked him also made mistakes. And make no mistake here yourself, people did attack him. He was not the aggressor. Unless you consider standing around with a med kit and a rifle slung on your shoulder an aggressive act. I don't think it is. Security guards aren't aggressive, they're defensive. They're not offensive. And that's what they were trying to play the role of, was security. Now you might say that's intimidation, but it's still not an aggressive act that requires a counteract from someone else. Whether they had a right to be there or not, it doesn't require someone else to attack, otherwise they're in danger. People who would have just walked by would have been in no danger. So let's remember there's people here on both sides that made mistakes. Should Kyle have been there? No, he's a kid. Should he have been in possession of a firearm? No, he shouldn't. Should he been on private property defending property that isn't his? No, he shouldn't have. Mainly because the people who owned the private property have come out and said, we did not want them there. We told them, no thank you, do not do it. So they were trespassing. So that's another issue. But they weren't being aggressive. The crowd that was out there doing things illegally were the ones being aggressive. The ones that were there earlier bashing windows. The ones that were destroying public property. The ones that came up and got in their faces. Those were the ones that were acting aggressively. Now, none of these acts justify the loss of life. Him being there when he shouldn't be with a rifle he shouldn't have, that doesn't justify the loss of life. The people that were doing other things, even breaking a car window, that just doesn't justify the loss of life. But when they attacked him physically, he was in danger. And if you pay attention to the person who attacked him, that guy was unstable. He has a laundry list of charges. He is a violent person. You could see in the video he's a violent person. So Kyle had every reason to feel like he was in danger when that person attacked him. Now, like I said, he's not a hero. Because a hero is someone you should be able to look at and say, I want to be like that person. I want to do the same things that person has done. I don't think anyone's looking at Kyle Rittenhouse right now going, that's who I want to be. So he's not a hero. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have had a gun. This should never have happened. But also, those people shouldn't have gotten in their faces, shouldn't have been destroying public property, shouldn't have attacked him. Everything from the moment he was attacked on, in my opinion, is self-defense. That doesn't make you a monster. Showing up wanting to clean graffiti, wanting to protect private property, having a med kit saying, if anyone here gets hurt tonight, I want to be the one to help them. None of that makes you a monster. This is not some guy who, strapped himself up, went to his old high school and started shooting. It's nothing like that. Nothing like that. He's a kid who made some mistakes. How can anyone look at this guy and think he's anything other than a child? I have a kid a few months younger than him. And I have one older than him that I still consider a kid. And I know as a parent, kids make mistakes. He thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was being engaged civilly with his community, cleaning up graffiti. He thought he was out providing security for a private property that couldn't afford it, blah, blah, blah. His intentions were good. His intentions to be there with a med kit to help people in case someone does get hurt, that was good. Nothing negative about his intentions. Now, how he went about it, like I said, a minor going across state lines with a gun they shouldn't have. Even if they only possessed it in one state or the other, it's still illegal for him to have that gun. Him being on private property, technically trespassing, since the people who own the property said they didn't want them there. None of that is legal, and he should face the charges as a minor. He should be charged as a minor in possession of a firearm and face those consequences. He should be charged maybe for trespassing as a minor and face those circumstances. He should face the circumstances of his actions. And they should probably be a little more severe than just possession of a firearm and trespassing, because these things did lead up to a circumstance where life was lost, but they weren't lost because of his actions. If other people hadn't interfered, no one would be dead. It wasn't like he created a dangerous situation and it blew up in the face of random innocent bystanders who were harmed through no action of their own. People were harmed after they chose to interact in an already bad situation in a way that made it worse. So they bear some burden of responsibility also. Anyone who decided to be out there that night destroying public property, anyone who decided that simply because those guys are over there defending public property, we should go over there and get in their faces and act like crazy people, they bear some responsibility. Now, the one person who attacked him after he'd shot someone and was running, that person didn't have the whole story. He didn't know what happened over on the grounds, as far as I can see from where he came from. He was just someone who involved himself in a situation he didn't understand, which is why I always tell people, be sure of the circumstances before you involve yourself in something. And he paid a bad price for that. But still, Kyle Rittenhouse did not shoot anyone until after he was attacked by that person. The first person on the lot, and then the second person later. That was it. And then the bystander that got shot in the arm, who was also armed also and probably firing. I don't know if it was him firing or someone else firing. The details have become murky at this point to me. But like I said, this was a symphony of errors that led up to a tragic event. The loss of life here is tragic. There are people that lost loved ones. Those are the people who suffer the most, the people that are still here that no longer have the people they care about. And that did come about by the actions of Kyle Rittenhouse and the actions of the people involved. They all share some responsibility there. And because of that, because Kyle did not act in any way that harmed anyone until after he was already physically attacked, in my opinion, this is not a murder case. He's not a killer. He's a kid that made some mistakes and then found himself in circumstances that no kid should find themselves in. That doesn't make him a monster. Like I said, he should face the charges for the things he did. He should accept some responsibility that because he made these mistakes, that he found himself in that situation. But since from the moment he's attacked on, he should be judged by those circumstances, that he was attacked first. And like I said, he can bear some responsibility, but as a minor. All the things he did wrong, face the consequences as a minor. Don't ruin his life forever, because there was no ill will that I can discern on his part, period, at any time. There was ill will on the parts of people going out, destroying property and attacking people. So they bear the lion's share of the responsibility for the physical assaults as far as I'm concerned. And the people, the adults that enabled Kyle to do the things he did, yes, they should face charges as adults. And they should have a little extra weight on their charges because of the circumstances that came from their actions. That's how the law works. But, like if you buy somebody an illegal firearm, well, that's one charge. If you buy someone a firearm illegally, give it to a 12-year-old, like say if you give a 12-year-old a firearm, that's a charge. If you give a 12-year-old a firearm and he accidentally blows his own head off, that's a bigger charge because you made that possible. So that's how I see this event. There's a lot of people that should be facing some charges here, but Kyle Rittenhouse is not a murderer. He's also not a hero, like I said. So stop trying to make him a hero. Stop trying to make him an example for either side. He's a kid that made some mistakes, and right now he's a kid that should face the consequences for those mistakes, but he is in no way a monster, and people should stop trying to demonize him because all he is a kid. And who wants to ruin a kid's life forever simply because they did what they thought was right, but they just didn't do it in the right way, and it led to some negative consequences? You're not going to change those negative consequences by destroying this kid's life. You're not going to bring those people back by destroying Kyle Rittenhouse. Two wrongs don't make a right. So like I said, stop trying to make him something he isn't. He's not a hero. He's not a villain. He's just a kid who made some mistakes.